They blocked one of South America's busiest highways, then turned it into a killing field. A massive bomb ripped through stranded buses in Colombia, leaving blood, fire, and a crater in the road. With elections weeks away, who is trying to terrorize the country? On April 25th, a stretch of one of South America's most traveled roads turned into a scene of devastation. On the Pan American Highway in the Cauca department of southwestern Colombia, a massive explosion ripped through a convoy of buses and vans, killing at least 20 people and injuring 36 more. 15 of the dead were women, 5 were men, all of them adults. 5 children were also hurt, though authorities say they are out of danger. The bomb, by all accounts, was no accident of war. It was a trap. Assailants first blocked the highway using a bus and another vehicle, forcing traffic to a halt. Then they detonated the device. Colombia's military chief Hugo López confirmed it plainly at a news conference on Saturday.
It is a terrorist attack against the civilian population.
The blast left a crater 200 cubic meters in size. Cars were flipped over by the force of it. Buses were left mangled. The governor of Cauca, Octavio Guzman, said,
"It is the area's most brutal and ruthless attack against the civilian population in decades."
One husband, Javier Campos, rushed to the scene after a call from his sister. He described what he found in words that carry the full weight of that day.
Finding my wife lying there, my sister called me and told me, "Brother, come back. It seems like the bus your wife was on was involved in the accident." And I came to look for her, and there she was.
President Gustavo Petro responded with fury.
Those who carried out this attack are terrorists, fascists, and drug traffickers. I want our very best soldiers to confront them.
This was not an isolated incident. A day earlier, on Friday, 5 explosive cylinders were allegedly launched from a bus parked outside a military base in Cali, Colombia's 3rd largest city, injuring 2 people. Then came Saturday. Then came the highway. In just 48 hours, authorities recorded 26 separate attacks across the departments of Cauca and Valle del Cauca. A local resident near the Cali base, Laura Portilla, described the moment the blasts hit.
First, there was an initial jolt and the power went out. We thought it was a transformer or something like that. Then 3 more blasts followed. The roof started to collapse, the lights went out, and people inside began to panic.
Petro pointed the finger squarely at Ivan Mordisco, Colombia's most wanted man and leader of a dissident FARC faction that broke away during the 2016 peace negotiations, and has since built a criminal empire on drug trafficking, illegal mining, and extortion. Colombia's defense minister, Pedro Sánchez, moved quickly. He announced a record reward of 5 billion pesos, roughly $1.4 million US, for information leading to the capture of a rebel commander known as Marlon.
In response to recent events, we have taken important decisions to reinforce the offensive in the south of Valle del Cauca and the north of Cauca. We have deployed a rapid deployment force to the area with a clear mission: to dismantle the criminal network led by alias Marlon, which is also linked to the drug trafficking organization of alias Mordisco.
The governor of Valle del Cauca, Dilian Francisca Toro, called for something deeper than a military response.
The most important thing is that we eradicate once and for all the illegal economy through crop substitution, through intervention in illegal mining, by ensuring that these occupations taking place in the upper area of Jamundi and even in the flatlands can be prevented in the future.
Here is the part that makes this more than just a tragedy. Colombia goes to the polls on May 31st, just over 1 month from now. Voters will choose a successor to President Petro. Armed groups using violence to shape elections is not a new story in this country. Last June, the young conservative frontrunner Miguel Uribe Turbay was shot in broad daylight while campaigning in Bogotá. He died 2 months later from his injuries. Today, the three leading candidates are all campaigning under heavy security, all having received death threats. The current polling frontrunner, leftist Senator Ivan Cepeda, has called for continued negotiation with rebel groups and carries Petro's backing. Trailing him are two right-wing candidates, Abelardo de la Espriella and Paloma Valencia, both pledging a harder line.
De momento podemos evidenciar en el sitio hay 12 personas aproximadamente sin signos vitales, resultado de esta situación que se presentó aquí. Hay un reporte de 25 heridos que han sido trasladados al hospital de Piendamó por cercanía, y en este momento estamos apoyando el paso de los pacientes de Piendamó hacia Popayán, porque está colapsado el hospital en este momento y estamos trasladándolos hacia Popayán. Aquí tenemos aproximadamente 15 ambulancias de diferentes instituciones para dar el soporte humanitario a las víctimas de esta situación.
De este vehículo, Puerto Tejada.
En primer lugar, pues preocupante la situación que hoy está pasando a nivel, digamos, de este territorio, porque pues nosotros pues hemos sido víctimas de una u otra manera de estas situaciones que hoy está presentando. En esa tarea pues hemos acudido hoy de acompañar, y también lamentamos a los familiares de este trágico accidente, de este trágico que realmente pues tiene consternado. Rechazamos a los violentos que de una u otra manera están afectando a la población civil, a los territorios indígenas, a los compañeros hermanos campesinos y a los compañeros urbanos. Y por eso venimos a acompañar hoy con la Guardia Indígena y la Guardia Zonal, que hoy nos acompaña de una u otra manera pues a estos compañeros que hoy están pasando por muchas situaciones. Nuestro llamado es que respeten a la vida, a la población civil, que nosotros de una u otra manera no hacemos parte de ese actores violentos, sino nosotros hacemos parte del diálogo, pero también hacemos parte de paz. Hacemos un llamado al gobierno nacional, al Ministerio de Defensa, que de una u otra manera pues proteja a la población civil, que de una u otra manera pues estamos pasando en estas graves situaciones.
El consejo es de veras que dejé esa moto, que dejé el carro